The narcissist's discard phase. Why it's not about you. When you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, the discard phase can feel like an earth-shattering moment. Suddenly, you're left to wonder what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and why you weren't enough to keep the relationship intact. These are painful thoughts, but here's the truth. The discard phase is not about you, it's about them. It's a reflection of their instability, not your worth. Today, we'll explore this complex topic, guiding you toward the clarity, validation, and empowerment necessary for healing. The discard phase refers to the moment when a narcissist abruptly ends or emotionally withdraws from the relationship. It might manifest as ghosting, unkind words, or even a complete and calculated abandonment. To the survivor, it feels sudden and devastating. This phase can leave you questioning everything, as it's often designed to make you feel unwanted, undeserving, or even invisible. For survivors of narcissistic abuse, this experience can feel personal, but it's important to recognize that it stems from a larger cycle of narcissistic behavior, not from your actions or value. To reframe the discard phase, it's necessary to step back and look at the narcissist's inner world. Narcissists are driven by an insatiable need for control, validation, and admiration. At their core, they often feel unworthy and insecure, compensating for this with a persona of superiority and entitlement. To maintain this persona, they manipulate relationships, using others to fill their emotional void. A narcissist views relationships as transactional. Your value to them often depends on what you can provide, whether that's attention, adoration, or a reflection of their idealized self-image. When you challenge, outgrow, or stop serving their needs, they discard you, not because of a flaw in you, but because of their own inability to form healthy reciprocal connections. The discard can feel intensely personal because it directly affects you, your emotions, and your well-being. But here's the critical insight. It's not a reflection of your value or abilities. It's about the narcissist's internal instability. One way to understand this is to consider the narcissist's perspective. They thrive on control. When they sense they may lose that control, perhaps because you're setting boundaries, growing as a person, or no longer feeding their ego, they retaliate by seeking to regain power. The discard allows them to maintain the upper hand or punish you for no longer meeting their chaotic expectations. Additionally, this behavior is often part of a pattern they repeat in their relationships. Even someone who appears to live up to their impossible standards will eventually be discarded. Why? Because the issue isn't with the other person, it's with the narcissist's unmet internal needs. This cycle of valuing and discarding others reveals their emotional dysfunction, not your worth. For many survivors, the discard phase triggers deep self-doubt and emotional pain. You might ask yourself, was I not good enough? Or, what could I have done differently? It's normal to feel this way because the narcissist's actions are designed to confuse and unsettle you. Their sudden withdrawal leaves you without closure, often trapped in a spiral of overthinking and blame. It's important to validate these feelings. Experiencing rejection is painful under any circumstances, but after narcissistic abuse, it can cut even deeper because of the emotional manipulation you endured. That said, internalizing the narcissist's behavior, believing that their decision reflects your worth, is a misunderstanding of the situation. The truth is, what the narcissist decides to do says everything about them and nothing about you. Here is where the shift begins. Reframe the discard phase not as a rejection of you, but as a reflection of the narcissist's instability. Their actions do not define your value. Rather, they expose their inability to function in a healthy relationship. Understanding this truth can be liberating. Yes, the discard hurts, But it also highlights that the narcissist is incapable of seeing you for who you truly are, a person worthy of love, respect, and care. This reframing also helps you regain power. You're no longer carrying the burden of trying to make sense of why their behavior feels so incomprehensibly cruel or inconsistent. Ultimately, their treatment of you reflects their dysfunction, not your worth. During and after the discard, you might replay moments in your mind, wondering where you fell short. But let me be clear, you are not too much or not enough. These are false narratives planted in your mind by both the narcissist's actions and the societal norms that make us question ourselves when relationships fall apart. The discard happened because the narcissist was unable to sustain the transactional nature of their connection with you, not because there's something wrong with you. This distinction is crucial to understand as you begin to move forward and heal. The path to recovery after the discard phase can be challenging but empowering. Here are a few practical steps to help you begin that journey. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself during this time. Acknowledge your pain without judgment. Remind yourself that your feelings are valid and that healing takes time. Set boundaries moving forward. Boundaries are essential in protecting yourself from further manipulation. Limit or eliminate contact with the narcissist if possible. This is not an act of hostility, but one of self-preservation. Build a support network. Surround yourself with people who genuinely care about you. Whether it's friends, family, or a therapist, having a support system will help reaffirm your sense of belonging and worth. Explore therapies and coping mechanisms. Therapy can be particularly helpful in processing feelings of rejection and confusion. Journaling, mindfulness, or other forms of self-reflection can also help you clarify your emotions and move forward. Focus on personal growth. Use this time as an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. What makes you happy? What hobbies have you put on hold? What dreams have been sidelined? Rebuilding your life on a foundation of self-love and purpose is a powerful step toward empowerment. Recovery is also about rediscovering your value outside the context of the narcissistic relationship. You may have been torn down by manipulation, but you are not damaged. You have always had worth, even if someone else tried to convince you otherwise. The discard phase is an ending, yes, but it's also an opportunity to rebuild, an opportunity to establish boundaries, pursue joy, and rediscover who you are without the narcissist's influence. When you stop tying your identity to their behavior, you reclaim your power and open yourself to a brighter, healthier future. In closing, remember this: the narcissist's discard phase is not about you. It's a reflection of their inner instability, fear of vulnerability, and inability to maintain a healthy relationship. It does not define your worth or your value as a person. You are deserving of love, respect, and kindness, starting with the love you show yourself. Take small steps toward healing, lean on your support system, and remind yourself daily that you are enough. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing it with others who may need the reminder that they, too, are worthy of healing. The journey may be challenging, but it's one you don't have to navigate alone. Together, we can rise above the scars of abuse and reclaim our light.